everyone, fellow gardeners and people that just want to learn about gardening. Today I'm going to talk about seed starting. So this is seed starting in the Northwest. I have done this for many years, and there's more to it than just reading the back of the seed pack. So I got this pony pack flat to show you one way to put soil in the pony packs themselves, and they are sitting in a tray that is like a saucer that the water can't drain through, so it holds the moisture in the pony packs. And this method I use, this is just a flat with drainage holes in the bottom, and it sits in a solid flat. So I really like black gold soil. It's just a good all-purpose soil. March 17th here, so happy Shamrock Day, and which is kind of early. Our last annual freeze, the average annual freeze is May 15th in our area. And so people can generalize and say that, you know, that your plants should be safe to put out in the garden, your seedlings, May 15th, plus or minus. There are plants like the tomatoes and peppers that like the soil to be nice and warm by then, so I often wait until around the 1st of June to put those plants out in the garden. And then there are plants that you can put directly, the seeds, there are plants, the seeds of which you can directly sow into the garden after all danger of frost is in place. So there's that, nice and full. And I'm just gonna dump this in this bag. Fill the flat up with soil. Smooth it out. There we go. Ta-da. And so you can use any kind of markers in your seed flats as to what seeds you're planting. I just have popsicle sticks here that I got from Miss Bethany here in our library, and I just used this Sharpie and wrote the name of the plant, in this case Snapdragon, zinnia, tomato, those, and I just stick those in these areas where I've planted the seeds. Not rocket science or anything. And today we're going to plant basil, tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes, and jalapeno. And the reason we're planting these is you always want to read the back of the seed pack. This says on the basil, sow seed in a sunny location after the danger of frost. For earlier harvest, seeds may also be started indoors 4 to 6 weeks before outdoor planting time. So this is a bit early for basil because we wouldn't want to stick basil out in the garden from 4 to 6 weeks from today, because it likes to be nice and warm when the roots go into the soil. But we're going to do basil anyway, and you can hang on to it indoors or not put it directly in the garden right away. And jalapeno, they are considered a warm season garden crop, and this says start indoors in a warm, well-lighted area about 8 weeks before planting outdoors. So this is really a perfect time, maybe again a little bit early to start these, because in 2 months we should be able to put these outside in the garden in a warm space. And then tomato is much like peppers in that it needs to be warm when it goes into the soil. Warm air temperatures and evening temperatures and warm soil temperatures. So sow seed indoors in a warm, well-lighted area 8 to 10 weeks before last frost. So we're kind of right on for that. So I'm going to plant these in these pony packs over here. And I always learn that to put 2 seeds in every cell, because there's a chance that one may not germinate. So you'll have another one, just in case. So let me start with tomato. And this is, beefsteak tomato, which you can read the back of these two to get an idea of how long it would take certain varieties to mature in our climate. So days to harvest, 55 to 60 days, which is short season for around here. Some of the tomatoes seeds you can pick from are, especially the heirloom seeds, they can be up to 80 days before you can harvest them. And you know how some of our late summers we can get a frost, and right when all your tomatoes are about ready to come on, they get frosted. So this is a good, dependable early season tomato, and I like early girl as well. So here's the seeds, which are just like dried seeds inside the tomato when you cut them at home. And I'm just going to go put a couple in each cell. And I confess I'm putting more than 2. You can thin them, you know, when they start germinating. If you have like 5 of them that all come up, that's too crowded, and you need to thin them, which some of us have a hard time doing, because thinning is like ripping them out and ending their potential life right then and there. But you'll at least have some. But you don't want to have like 5 tomatoes growing in one cell at once, because they will compete with each other and they won't do as well as if there were just one plant. So we got the tomatoes in there, and I am just going to push them in with my finger, the seeds. One's kind of full. That one. So just kind of put them in like so. Okay. You can do that too. And you know, I don't get real specific, but it says sow to 1/4 inch. So as long as you're in that depth range, you're good. I do have a little rake here, so I can rake it over. There we go. And here's our tomato marker. So I know that the tomatoes are in those 4. I did want to mention with cilantro. Cilantro is one of the crops that you don't want to buy at the grocery store in little seedlings. You want to directly plant this in your garden, because transplanting it stresses it a bit. And cilantro is a cool season crop. So once it heats up, like in, you know, it starts to really get warm end of June and July, and especially August, these cilantro plants will want to bolt or flower, and then they're done. You won't get any more of the cilantro leaves which is why you're growing it. So I plant cilantro seeds directly in my little raised garden area in May, probably May, and then I plant it again in August. In this situation where I just had the soil in the flat, this is what I do. I don't make rows like a little garden. And some seeds are easy to, put into the area. Other seeds like these and the basil are really, really small. So I'm just going to sprinkle them around in here. And I have 3 flower types that I'm going to be planting, so I'm going to just visually snapdragons, zinnias, and bells of Ireland in these general areas. And since there are so many seeds in a pack, you can, not be stingy. There's the snapdragon. And at home when I do this, I put them in my shed. I have a heat mat in my shed and a south-facing window, and I have them outside, and the hose nozzle has a spray head or a water can spray head like this. Fill it up with water and just get them nice and moist. And then you could also use a smaller watering can. Big ones just, of course, will just wash the seeds to another area. And so, like this. So you'll start to see these germinate, and that will be very exciting. And then, again, if they're too close together, try your best and do some thinning. As difficult as it is, it makes a difference, and it helps the plants. And when they start getting big enough, I stick mine outside, like on a fairly warm day in April or May, in the sun just for a couple hours, and bring them back in. Slowly get them used to being outside. Take them outside and they enjoy the sun, bring them back in at night. And that warm heat mat in the garage or your greenhouse or shed, wherever, will keep them warm enough inside that structure in the night. I don't use any kind of space heater in there, just that warm flat. And in and out, and then before you know it, it will be time to plant them outside, and what a fun time that is. And if you have any questions, any of you, about this process, please come in and ask us and talk to us about it, and let us know what you're planting and how you're doing it. And all of us, there's a great garden group around here, and all of us have a lot of experience and different experiences. So, there's not just one way to do this. There's all kinds of it. And I hope that you all try this and get that love of gardening in your soul, because it's very rewarding to take a little seed like this and grow it and then see it in full flower or a big ripe red tomato on it. It's just very rewarding. Thank you for joining us today, and happy gardening.